And here's the classic quote right here. Thomas says, "People often say that this or that person has not found himself. But the self is not something one finds. It is something one creates." Once you understand that, you have basically unplugged all the lie mechanisms that exist around you. That is the first step on the road to true self-discovery, true enlightenment. I've often pointed out that the soul, the self, is the soul. It is also specifically identical with what the religious people, the Christians, speak of as the Holy Spirit. And I elaborated on this in the article, 2012, Shiva and the Age of Aquarius and all of that. That's gone into in great depth. Well, you don't want to do it, which most people don't want to do, any of that. They'd rather run around. Okay, well, Ayn Rand reminds you of the consequences for that. Man, as she says, is free to choose not to be conscious. But he's not free to escape the penalty of unconsciousness, destruction. What do we see in the world? That level of denial. The magician Aleister Crowley put it in probably the most succinct language that you could imagine. He said that anyone who is forced from his own course, either through not understanding himself or through external imposition, comes into conflict with the order of the universe and suffers accordingly. Now, this is a man who's been accused of everything you can imagine. Every epithet of horror has been applied to him. No less, he was called a black magician. He says in his own words, "I have been accused of being a black magician. No more foolish statement," he says, "has ever been made about me. I despise the thing to such an extent that I can hardly believe in the existence of people so debased and as idiotic as to practice it," meaning evil magic or black magic. But he's talking here about the useful or necessary suffering that is visited upon you because you are out of accord with the universe, her, it, nature, which is ultimately the self. Live external to it, expect pain. Live external, live in discord to the world's laws, expect pain. But what kind of pain do you want? The pain of the ever-loving mother or the pain of the boss hogs? It's your choice. Vernon Howard, the American teacher and philosopher, said that human sickness is so severe that few can bear to look at it. But those who do will become well. That's right. The first stage of the awakening process is that to realize you can't live in a one-season world. To do so, to ignore those seasons of the psyche is as mad and as insane as to try to avoid nature's cycles and rhythms, not only of the week, but of the month and of the season. I put it in another way in the 2012 talk. I said, you can voice it this way. You can say, have I been sold a lie? That's one level of where people often can come to, right, when they sort of question that. Or the more adept and ultimately the more wise person phrases the question this way: have I bought a lie? See, one is disempowered, the other is empowered. Because somebody can sell you something doesn't mean you've got to buy it. Now Pythagoras, because this story's been known long time ago. It's not just something of the modern age, you know. Back in the 6th century BC, Pythagoras put it this way: thou shalt know, self-chosen are the woes that fall on men. How wretched, for they see not good so near, nor hearken to its voice. Few only know the pathway of deliverance from ill. So in my work, I'm not that interested or concerned, you see, with all of these different, the social reform where one tyrant replaces another tyrant.